Hello, I'm JW. This time I've got some items that have been sent in, and the item today is this thing, still wrapped up in the packaging there. It's basically a ceiling rose with a lamp holder on the end and some yellow fleck, so have a look at this one. So here's the move for this one. So I enclosed light fitting obtained from a market stall in the south of England for your detection and evaluation. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience on YouTube. And this one is from Matthew in Glastonbury. So this is what we've got, and essentially it's a lamp holder on the end here. It's E27 or Edison screw 27, maximum 40 watts it claims there. This does appear to be metal, although it is quite thin there. So basically it's got your contacts there, the outer ring being one of them and the piece in the middle being the other. And the flex here is this sort of fabric covered stuff. It is 3 core there, as you see the 3 individual parts. And of course it's designed to look like sort of lamps from a very long time ago, but this is obviously brand new. It's yellow for some reason. The top again is metal, just 2 screws there, and it's the usual kind of thing. They've got this bar which goes on the ceiling, and then you just tighten up those to secure it. And unsurprisingly, of course, made in China, dated November 2015 for that one. Now it's supplied, say, just with the bare ends of the wire there, no connectors whatever. It does have another wire here for the earth connection, and that is actually marked up as such. And then the only other label is in here, which basically just says chandelier model CH226, again the 40 watts E27. Read the instruction before use. Well, that's lovely, but didn't actually cover any instruction. It was just literally in that plastic bag that we saw a moment ago. Now this is an E27. These are available in the UK as the lamps or the bulbs that go in there. Not as common as the bayonet, but fairly common nevertheless. We've got the outer covering here. This should be connected to the earth conductor. That should be the neutral, as in the ring there, and then the line should be the pin, also down in the bottom. And the reason for that is so that if you've screwed a lamp in, then on some types there's a possibility of contacting the outside when it's plugged in, so also you get a shock from that. Whereas of course if the line is down in the middle, that's not going to happen. So that's what we've got there. It does have the flex grip on it. And this separator here, which is basically between the earth outer and the neutral, this is actually cardboard. Now, cardboard or paper is actually a decent insulator. Its only problem is if it gets damp or wet, of course, then it becomes a very good conductor. But the fact that it's card or paper, it's not used so much these days, but it is still a valid material to use in lamp holders. Let's say normally they just go for the plastic on these, but nevertheless we've got cardboard in this particular case. Now I'll just do a couple of checks on this to see if it's wired up correctly. So what we've got on the top here, it's got 3 wires going down to the holder. Got this additional earth here that just goes to the metal piece in the middle, so it's purely for this top cap here. Now of course this is designed to look like the sort of old silk covered wire, which of course traditionally would have been a rubber insulation inside, but this is modern PVC, and this is probably a polyester braid of some sort. So although it looks like an old type, it obviously isn't. The wires do twist up quite decently, and if you bend them they will stay in the shape given, so it appears this is going to be solid copper rather than that aluminium stuff. The aluminium doesn't tend to bend particularly well, or if it does bend it has to spring back into shape. Now what we should have is the earth, of course, should go to the metal casing, so let's have a go with that first. Just clamp onto there. Got this in continuity, so we should see that that is connected to the metal here. So let's go to there. Well, as you can see, it doesn't appear to be connected to that. Screw there. So no, it isn't. So that's not a particularly good start. Let's try 2 of the others. So let's go for the neutral. This should be the outer ring, so on the thread here. Okay, well that's connected there, so I'm getting a resistance of 0.05 ohms there, so that's reasonable. And then of course the brown, or the line, that should of course go to that central contact. So we go in there, we should get, so it's there, so that's sort of 0.11. Seems a bit higher than the other, but still well within the limit as it's only a short piece. So seems the outer covering is not connected for whatever reason. Now just in case it has some kind of lacquer or something on there, let's just try that on the higher voltage. So let's just connect to this piece here, and we'll just place the probe onto the screw there, and we'll try the 500 volt test just to see if there's any kind of connection whatsoever. But no, as you see there, there's simply nothing there at all, so it seems likely they haven't actually connected that to the lamp holder. So let's just open this, see what we can find. It seems fairly loose already. That's actually twisting the inner there. That's not how it's supposed to come apart. What should happen is this plastic piece will undo to release the flex, and then presumably got to undo that screw there to get inside the thing, and then we'll just see what, if anything, it's connected to. So that will come away from there. This obviously should release also. Yes, that piece should unscrew independently of this, but clear exactly how they've done this, because yeah, there we go. So that turns and then the middle doesn't. So there's the cardboard sleeve. It does have a sort of plasticized coating over it, which would reduce moisture pickup on that. Say card is valid material, it's just not used very much these days. Now this should unscrew as well. And that whole flex grip should just pull away. A bit of fraying on the outer covering, but that's not a significant thing. So yeah, and there we have inside. So the earth here isn't actually connected, and even worse, it's just been left literally just poked in the middle there, rather close to both of the other conductors. So literally just stuff there, moves slightly and shorts onto the line, or shorts onto the neutral there. Of course that's no good at all. Otherwise we've got the other two here. It is sort of a crimp connection onto this terminal on the side. Same with the neutral over there. And as we saw already, they are connected to the correct one, so neutral is onto this outer ring, and then the line goes to the centre tab. But yes, unfortunately they've spoiled the entire thing by not actually connecting this to anything, just leaving it literally just stuck in there, drifting about and waiting to short onto something. Now if you'd actually connected the other end to earth and hadn't checked this, if this shorted over, there's going to be a fairly big bang and the fuse is blown. Even worse in that if you hadn't connected it, then of course that connects here, then it's going to be live, and then whatever at the end is also live. So obviously that's not good, particularly if it had got in contact with the other one. That will be live on the ceiling. So yes, that's certainly a bit of a fail in that regard. There's no way you can claim this is class 2 or double insulated, because obviously this is all metal inside, and again that should be attached to that metal in some fashion, but as we can see it doesn't have any means to connect it there. So definitely not good, and all this again is metal parts, so definitely should have an earth connection there. So in terms of the components here, it's not actually a bad product. It's, say, card is a bit of an unusual choice, but that is still valid as an electrical insulator. But of course what's really spoiled it is the missing earth connection, and this holder, or the outer metal, doesn't actually have any means to connect it on there anyway. All you've got is this little screw here, which just goes into the side there, basically to stop this thing undoing. And so you might be able to sort of make a connection there, but there is no dedicated earth terminal, and yet they've bothered to put the 3-core flex in, which is certainly a bit surprising. So if you're going to get something like this, do check that the earth is actually connected, because certainly in this case it definitely wasn't. And even worse, they just left the earth flapping about inside the connections there, not even connected to anything or any effort to do so. Other than that, if you can find some way to connect the earth to it satisfactorily, then nothing wrong with necessarily using stuff like this. But as is often the case, all the bits are there, but the actual implementation was fairly poor. So that's it for this time, and until next time, thanks for watching.